Good morning. It's Friday. How you doing this morning, Cameroon?
I'm good, man. I've already been at work since like 5:45 today.
Hell yeah, me too. I mean, at the desk here in the basement at the house, but I've been up since, let's see, I think I rolled over at about 4 o'clock this morning. All right, kiddos, it is Firearms Friday. Let me go ahead and share that
Good
chat
morning.
window over to Cameron
Yep.
and see who's talking to us already. Steve says he likes the scorecard. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned it too, because you know what? Oh no. Okay. So I have to do some updating on that.
So good morning, Steve, Rod, and Drew.
Hey Cameron, can you just chit chat with the boys for a minute while I fix something real quick?
St. Michael of Signorio says progressives and Democrats are getting pissed that people are comparing the Capitol Hill incident to the 2020 summer of black mob violence, then saying that one is clearly far worse than the other. Yeah, St. Michael, that's actually something we're planning on discussing tomorrow. And we talked about whether or not we wanted to address the concession from the president, the concession from Kelly Loeffler, the fact that the remaining lawsuits are being dropped and everything else. But yeah, it's Firearms Friday, damn it, and we want to have fun. This has all been a nightmare, and so we're talking about doing a special edition clusterfuck to go over the exact thing that you mentioned right there, because the hypocrisy is one of the biggest takeaways, no matter where you land on it. If you think storming the Capitol was a good idea, bad idea, whatever, you cannot ignore the hypocrisy that it exposed, and that is for damn sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the stories. Let's do the Firearms Friday show. Go ahead and get to the articles. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
How many can we get done before 8 o'clock? Hopefully.
And now you should be able to hear me. Everything went wrong again. But we're close, guys. We're damn close.
So just Cam then.
There, fixed it. All right,
Yes.
so talk about the Capitol, and I know we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but it was the worst display of Americanism that I have ever seen. Oh, Drew, you should turn in tomorrow. You could not be more wrong. We'll address that on the clusterfuck.
Yeah, even though I don't think it was a good idea to storm the Capitol, I would disagree with that as well. So, yes, St. Michael, the things you are pointing out are things that we intend to discuss. Please come back tomorrow afternoon.
God, please come back tomorrow. I promise you this, guys. I promise you this. Before the end of the day today, even if the clusterfuck tomorrow is only Cameron and I, or it'll either be tomorrow or Sunday, we'll get that ironed out with the rest of the clusterfuck heads, including you. I want Rod on that one. So, Rod, I'll let you know what we're looking at for times and see if you can join us for that. And we'll do another. We'll do the big talking heads group thing, and we'll address all of that. So now let's get into this, and y'all let me know if we have any more. If you start hearing any audio artifacts or any problems like that, there's a crap load of moving parts in this thing to make this show work the way it works, or at least the way it's supposed to work. But we're all but there. I'm just catching little things here and there. So, Dayton man shoots woman carrying golf club. Woman charged.
Charged with the crime or charged with the golf club?
I don't know yet. That's okay. So, for anyone who hasn't watched this show before, here's the game. I pull up all these articles, right? And this is really only the second or third time we're doing it this way. It's the first time we're doing it with the actual scorecard set up, because last week was an epic fail. But here's the game. I pull up these stories that are tagged as armed self-defense stories, defensive gun use stories. I pull them up, and I try not to even read the headlines, but I don't read the articles before we start. I'm going to read the articles to you. Cameron's listening to me read the article as I'm reading it, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to critique officer actions. We're going to talk about things like what the narrative says in the article, how it looks like it's being spun or not, whether or not it appears to be factual. And guys, criminals tend to be dumb, and they tend to be Democrats. But I repeat myself. And so there's often a lot of comedy to be had from these stories, even though we're talking about people getting killed. But even to that extent, you can think of this as kind of a Darwin Awards type of show. So, for example, let's just do a little editorial work here. Dayton man shoots woman carrying golf club, woman charged. From that sentence, I suspect that we're going to find out that the woman was charged with assaulting the man, but there's some ambiguity in that language. I don't know if the woman was charged with a crime or if she charged at him with the golf club. I suspect both.
Or both. Yeah, maybe both.
Dayton police responded to a Germantown street apartment on the report of a shooting. Officers say that about 8:15 a.m. Tuesday, January 5th, 2021, a man confronted a woman who was reportedly damaging his 2005 Dodge Magnum with a golf club. The man reportedly told officers that she threatened to shoot him, so he returned to his apartment out of concerns that she had a weapon. The woman was identified as 30-year-old Matika Ware. Police said Ware followed the man into the building, still carrying the club, and she began striking the door with the club. The woman told police he thought he'd heard a gunshot, at which time police said the man shot through the door, striking Ware. He then called police to report the incident. Police say Ware has been charged with aggravated menacing and criminal damaging. The man was interviewed and released. The investigation is ongoing. Oh, there's so many details missing from this story. You know what?
How much meth was she on?
How much meth was she on? Okay, Dayton, Ohio. What do you think the odds are that this guy's Dodge Magnum happened to have a Trump sticker on it? Yeah. That's pure speculation. I don't know, but balance of probability. And I say that because from the way this story reads, it doesn't appear that he knew the woman. So that leads me to suspect that she was attacking the vehicle for some reason unrelated to the relationship between the two of them. Right? There's nothing here about her being a spurned lover, a revenge vendetta over him cheating on her or something like that. So I would be surprised to learn that she was not on drugs, and I would not be surprised to learn that there was something like a GOP sticker or a Trump sticker on the car. So, Krista says, Ohio? Yeah, definitely meth. But it looks like she didn't die. So this one, our first tally of the day is a dead over there.
No. If she didn't die, she's not dead anyway.
Oh, you're right. She's not even dead. Okay, so our first tally of the day, let me back that up. Our first tally of the day, you're right. Our first tally of the day is a BRM. That means that the shooter needs to go back for basic rifle marksmanship. And I would say also basic gun safety, because he shot through the door. That means he shot blind. That is ill-advised. I'm not saying it's never okay. I'm not saying that it's never tactically a sound decision. But the man told police he thought he'd heard a gunshot. Before I'm going to shoot blindly through a door, I'm probably going to have to be able to say, I heard a gunshot and a hole appeared in my door. Somebody blew a hole in my door. If somebody's shooting through my door at me, oh yeah, now we're into blind fire territory. Now we're into, I don't care who's on the other side of that door. You've just bought yourself a lead salad. So this one goes into the category of BRM, or basic rifle marksmanship. Time to go back to the range, kiddo. So, any more comments on that one, Cameron, or are we ready to move on to the next story?
That's what you get for messing around.
That is what you get for messing around. I like that. All right. Deputies identify suspect wounded at home invasion near Somerville. All right. I can already say just from the headline, this one sounds less amusing. The Berkeley County Sheriff's Office says 2 suspects in a home invasion, this is Berkeley County, South Carolina. 2 suspects in a home invasion were shot by the homeowner, will face charges in the incident. 2 suspects in a home invasion who were shot by the homeowner will face charges in the incident. Okay, good. The suspects are being charged. And they use the word suspects here, not victims. So immediately you know, what do we know about this article from the jump, Cameron?
That it's being written correctly.
Well, that it wasn't written in California.
Yeah, I was about to say that it wasn't written by some shitburger liberal that doesn't understand how self-defense works.
Right. So deputies say the suspects, whom they identified as Daniel Moon and Sean Cook, will face charges of first-degree burglary and third-degree assault and battery. Moon is still hospitalized following the shooting, but his active warrants, according to Deputy Carly Drayton, Cook will face these same charges, she said. Booking photos were not yet available for the 2 suspects. The investigation began on December 29th at 1:35 a.m. when Berkeley County deputies responded to a home on Mosby Court. Mosby Court? Whatever. When deputies arrived, they spoke to the victim, who said his gun was on the floor and reported that he had shot 2 male subjects who had attacked him when he opened the door. And see right there again, this is a solid article. They refer to the victim as the victim instead of the shooter or something like that, right? So the victim said it all started when he heard someone knocking on his front door and heard someone say, "It's Hal, your neighbor." The report states when the victim opened the door, the 2 male subjects pushed through the door, with one of them grabbing the victim and slinging him across the room. The victim said he reached into his pocket, took out a gun, and fired 4 rounds at the suspects. They ran from the scene, and he told his girlfriend to call the police. The victim said he then observed a car running in the nearby area with a female subject standing outside of it and a male subject sitting in the driver's seat. The victim said he yelled out the door that he was calling the police, at which time the vehicle left. The victim's girlfriend said she was in a back room of the home when the incident happened and heard someone knocking at the door, her boyfriend going to the front door, and then heard banging around, quote unquote, followed by gunshots. The sheriff's office then responded to Roper St. Francis on Carnes Crossing Boulevard for 2 gunshot victims that arrived shortly after the incident. According to deputies, it was determined the 2 were the suspects involved in the home invasion. So again, this time we have 2 BRMs. Drew says that we are no longer live on YouTube. St. Michael says, St. Michael comments and says we are. So we've got 2 BRMs right there. Let me go ahead and take a quick peek and see what's going on YouTube. It's possible they took us down. Nope. We're still live on YouTube, Drew. Good to go. Krista says we're still good. All right. Moving on. Anything else to comment on this, Cameron? So far, we're 0-0-3.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay. So, moving on. Wow, okay, bear with me just a second because this story is just covered up in ad nonsense. There we go. Oh, they want to play silly games with their ads. Resident shoots and kills suspected burglar in North Lauderdale.
Uh-oh. Now that's a story with a happy end.
An armed burglary suspect is dead, and the Broward State Attorney's Office will decide if the resident who fatally shot the intruder will be charged. All right. Well, there it is, right off the rip. DRT, baby.
Is this Broward County, Florida?
Lauderdale, Broward. It doesn't say Florida anywhere. So, there. I'm going to go with it's the South Florida Sun Sentinel. So, yes. Florida man. Florida man. And, St. Michael, I do run an ad blocker. The thing that they're running up here, this is actually links to their internal site that they're just scrolling over the top of stuff. So, Derek Morgan, 21, of North Lauderdale, killed Millard Thompson, 38, of Deerfield Beach. About 2 a.m., the Broward Sheriff's Office said Tuesday. Thompson was inside the home in the 8,000 block of Southwest 5th Street when 911 was called. Morgan confronted Thompson and fired, investigators said. North Lauderdale Fire Rescue pronounced Thompson dead at the scene of the shooting.
Yeah,
that's it. DRT, baby.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Witnesses in the home told detectives that Thompson was armed with a gun at the time of the shooting, and detectives found a gun in the home that they believe belonged to Thompson. If this is determined to be a case of self-defense, then Morgan is unlikely to be charged, but the investigation is continuing. Thompson was sentenced to a little more than 1 year in prison for an 2004 cocaine conviction. Hey, cocaine in Florida! Cocaine in Florida. You know, I think Ron White said it best. He said, look, officer, it's 7/8 of a gram of marijuana. I know I'm wrong. You got me. But you had to drive by four meth labs and a dead hooker to even get here. So his Broward County record shows 7 felony arrests dating back to 1987 for drug possession, fraud, and firing a gun into a building. So this isn't just a dead bad guy. This is a dead bad guy. Right? Governor Ron DeSantis has proposed strengthening the state's Stand Your Ground law as a means of combating looting and other crimes. Critics say it would open the door to vigilante justice.
Oh, shit right up your nose. There's nothing vigilante about this. This guy's a career criminal who finally picked on the wrong one. It's like the bully. Look, it's like the bully at school. It goes around picking on everybody. Eventually, there's that one tiny kid that the bully thinks he can just shove around. But it turns out that tiny kid's been practicing jujitsu since he was 11. And he flips the bully over on his ass and puts his foot on his neck. Like, it's, just whoops. Don't be a dick. And dick things probably won't happen to you. It's the way the universe works. As Captain Malcolm Reynolds said, don't you ever let nobody kill you. If anybody tries to kill you, you got every right in the world to try to kill them right back. So, by my pretty floral bonnet, I will end you.
You know, the Bible has some pretty specific things to say about killing people. Yes, it does. It is, however, somewhat less clear on the subject of kneecaps.
Oh, and Rod has a great comment. Foot on the neck, can't breathe, might be an overdose.
Wow. Zaluska just said that Cameron is the scariest person he's ever met. That's, all right.
Don't let it hurt your feelings, buddy.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
And I tried to.
Zaluska knows me. I'm a teddy bear. I've only shot him in the dick a half a dozen times. Person shoots vehicle burglar outside West Palm Beach gas station, according to police. See, Krista disagrees because Krista's also met me. But, oh wow, this is a short one. Person shoots vehicle burglar outside West Palm Beach gas station, according to police. The West Palm Beach Police Department is investigating a shooting that occurred at a gas station overnight. Authorities say that a person was shot outside of the racetrack gas station on 45th Street just before midnight on Saturday. A vehicle owner confronted and shot a burglar inside of their vehicle. According to police, the suspected burglar and shooting victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the vehicle owner was licensed to legally carry a firearm and cooperated with investigators. Both parties are adults. Well, this story is scant on details, but...
Both parties are adults. Thanks for that.
Right? But we did get enough to know that this is a BRM. Time to go back to the range, sweetheart. You need some training. All right, look. Steady sight picture, steady position, right? Breathe. And place your trigger squeeze right there in that natural pause at the pulmonary valley. Bang. And that is how you touch hearts and minds.
From the inside.
From the inside. And it looks like we've got about 6 minutes left. I think we can get through one more, and then we'll do the safety brief, and that'll be the show. I would like to do more than a half-hour show. That's something that's just going to take. This is a labor of love, guys. We're giving it what we've got for now. Homeowner shoots and kills 2 burglary suspects Monday morning. Boom. Boom. No DOTs today. Got 3 DRTs and 4 BRMs, and I like that we get to close this show on a DRT. Hallelujah.
Double kill.
Double kill. Multi-kill. Flawless. Flawless victory.
Rod says 2 for T.
Yes. Okay, Amarillo, Texas. Amarillo police have identified the 2 people found dead in a home Monday morning around 5:19 a.m. Approximately at exactly this time, officers were called to a suspicion call at a home near 3rd Avenue and South Jackson Street. Officers found 2 people dead in the home. APD homicide detectives were called to the scene to investigate. Detectives have learned the homeowner confronted one of the people committing a burglary. The suspect attacked the homeowner and the two began fighting. The homeowner was armed with a handgun. Steve says he lost audio. Krista disagrees. Police say the second person tried to assault the homeowner, and the homeowner shot the suspects in fear for his life. Both of the suspects died at the scene. St. Michael also disagrees with Steve. Both of the suspects died at the scene. They have been identified as 27-year-old Jesus Antonio Maldonado and 43-year-old Anthony Garon Adams. Detectives interviewed the homeowner and later released him. The case will be presented to the Potter County Grand Jury and remains under investigation. Editors note there was a correction to the age of one of the people in the story from the Amarillo Police Department. Okay. That one sounds like it's pretty much just a clean shoot.
This is Texas. All the stand your ground castle doctrine stuff is going to apply.
Yes.
Rod. Rod's asking what happens if you aren't afraid that day. Is the fear of your life a required element? No, not in states that have either castle doctrine or stand your ground laws on the books.
And I've never liked the language "fear for your life." Because I speak from actual experience. It is more correct. Like Steve says, fake it? ? I think it would be more correct to argue the element as the question of whether or not you have a reasonable expectation that your life is at risk. Using the word fear in there means that part of the question of legality is based on a question of emotional state, and that should not be the case. So there are jurisdictions where part of the standard is that you must have been in fear for your life. And a good attorney defending a case like that will make an argument like what I'm making on the question of fear, instead of arguing that your emotional state was one of fear, making the argument that a reasonable person would understand that the risk to their life was a clear and present danger. That's, making a calculated risk assessment is very different than making an emotional decision. And that should be at least a part of the standard.
Yeah, and just real quick, before you do the safety brief, while I appreciate the fact that states have incorporated castle doctrine into their laws, that's one of those things I don't think should be incorporated into the fucking law. It should be understood. Your home is your castle. You have a right to fucking defend it.
Yeah, and like we've talked about before, we talked about this a lot when back during the Arbery case, where we talked about castle doctrine and stand your ground, and how they relate to your right to self-defense as kind of an exemplar of other places where the law works similarly to the laws around a citizen's arrest. Right? In Georgia, for example, there are laws which pertain to citizen's arrest, but those laws do not give you the authority or the right to conduct a citizen's arrest. Just like stand your ground laws and castle doctrine do not give you the right or the authority to defend your life. The laws in those regard, what they do is they clarify that if you are in a situation where you are lawfully exercising your right to self-defense or your right to a citizen's arrest, then the laws around it, there's no law, right? These are assumed natural rights. You have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to defend your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness and property. So where the stand your ground laws come in is they clarify states of use. So it says, and this was why the Zimmerman case was such a big deal. Zimmerman's case was a clear-cut safe case of self-defense at the scene when the police investigated it. And so the law said that since this is a clear-cut case of self-defense, you're not even allowed to arrest him to investigate whether or not it was self-defense. If the question of self-defense, of whether or not it was self-defense had existed, then they would be able to arrest him and either prosecute or investigate the question of whether it was self-defense. And then if it was determined through the investigation after his arrest that it was self-defense, then he'd be released without charges. But in many states that have stand your ground and castle doctrine laws, what the law does is it says, okay, somebody broke into your house. This is a clear-cut case of self-defense. If you've just been attacked and had to defend yourself with deadly force against deadly force, why should the burden of suffering through the system be placed upon you, the victim? That is not different than arresting a woman who has claimed that she was raped and interrogating her as part of the investigation. You do not prosecute victims.
And just one other thing real quick before you do the safety brief. I swear, Zaluska, I'm not an angry person. That's just my face. That's just the way my face looks, especially when I'm concentrating on something.
Alex says, speaking of self-defense, we had Aaron Cowan on the show last night. Yeah, I noticed you weren't at the meeting, brother. You should have heard me and Larry digging into the senator. You missed a good show last night. But I have the good fortune of being able to go back and watch your pre-recorded show. And my wife's trying to call me because I'm supposed to be off the air now. So, it is Friday. Y'all be safe out there. Don't drive drunk. Don't fry bacon naked. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, farm animals, and videotape. No two at the same time. Be safe, and we'll see you. I'm not sure. Either tomorrow or Sunday, but definitely Monday. Y'all be safe out there.